हेलो चिल्ड्रन, वेलकम बैक टू द क्लास। आज इस बायोलॉजी क्लास में वी विल स्टडी अबाउट टिश्यू। हमारे प्रीवियस वीडियो में जो हमने सेल के बारे में, क्रोमोसोम्स के बारे में, सेल डिविजन के बारे में जो सब वीडियोस आई हैव शोन यू, जो हमने दिखाए, आई होप उस वीडियोस को देख के आपको चैप्टर्स समझ में आए हैं, यू हैव लाइक्ड इट एंड यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द चैप्टर्स वेरी क्लियरली। तो आज इस चैप्टर में, आज इस क्लास में, वीडियो में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे टिश्यू के बारे में। So I hope children you will like the video, share it and subscribe it. So let's go back to the chapter. तो इस टिश्यू चैप्टर में हम लोग डील करेंगे प्लांट एंड एनिमल टिश्यू। तो फर्स्ट वी मस्ट नो व्हाट आर टिश्यू। ये टिश्यूज है क्या? Everybody knows, we all know that life begins from a single cell. एक सिंगल सेल से लाइफ स्टार्ट होता है, जाइगोट। अब उसके बाद दिस सेल्स कीप्स ऑन डिवाइडिंग, मल्टीप्लाइंग एंड देन दे गिव राइज टू द ऑर्गन्स एंड द ऑर्गेनिजम्स। तो एक सेल से काफी सारे सेल्स, एक ही तरह के सेल्स, अ ग्रुप ऑफ सिमिलर सेल्स हैविंग अ स्पेसिफिक फंक्शन, परफॉर्मिंग अ स्पेसिफिक फंक्शन फॉर्म्स द टिश्यू। तो ये टिश्यू क्या है? एक ग्रुप ऑफ सेल है जो एक ही तरह से दिखते हैं, जिसका स्ट्रक्चर सेम रहता है एंड दे परफॉर्म अ स्पेसिफिक फंक्शन। एक ही तरह के फंक्शन वो लोग कैरी करते हैं, उसको इससे बनता है टिश्यू। एक ही तरह के टिश्यूज, ग्रुप ऑफ टिश्यूज परफॉर्मिंग सेम काइंड ऑफ फंक्शन फॉर्म्स द ऑर्गन एंड दिस ऑर्गन्स, द सिस्टम ऑफ ऑर्गन्स, काफी सारे ऑर्गन्स, दे बिल्ड अप द ऑर्गन सिस्टम एंड द ऑर्गेनिज्म। तो ये है एक टोटल स्टेप कि एक सेल से कैसे एक ऑर्गेनिज्म बनता है। सो हियर व्हाट आर टिश्यूज? Tissues are group of cell having a similar in structure and performing a specific function. Several tissues together contribute to some specific function inside the body, constitute an organ. एक तरह के tissues एक साथ मिलके बनता है organ. तो first क्या है? First is the cell. Now this cells, group of cells, form the tissue. Tissues that are a group of tissues performing a specific function forms the organs. And many organs together form the organ system. And the organ system give rise to the organism. So this how it works. Cell, group of cells with specific structure and function forms the tissue. Group of tissues performing same type of function or specific function forms the organ. The organs together forms the organ system and the organ system give rise to the organisms. Okay, I hope children is clear किस तरह से tissues form करते हैं, किस तरह से organisms बनते हैं। Now we move on to plant tissues. जैसे कि animal और plant both are made up of cells. So now a group of cells having same structure and functional tissues. So in plant tissues we generally have two types of tissues. One is the meristematic, growing tissue. We can say that keeps on growing. One is the meristematic tissue and that is the permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue वो है जो continuously multiply करता रहता है, divide करता रहता है। ये सेल हमेशा divide करता रहता है, multiply करता रहता है because it helps in the growth of the plant. It helps in the growth of the plant और ये रहता भी है growing tips पे, जैसे कि the root tips, the stem tips, the tips of the leaves. These are the places where we find the meristematic tissues. Also present between the bark, और ये bark और wood के बीच में भी रहता है. It helps in the growth of the girth or the diameter, we can say, the cambium. जो tree का जो growth होता है diameter में, चौड़ाई में, उसके growth and development में भी ये meristematic tissues वहाँ present रहते हैं. So meristematic tissues, keeps on multiplying, keeps on growing, and they are present in the growing tips of the plant. Growing tips. like the roots, stem, the branches, and also in the between the bark and the wood that helps in the growth of the cambium, the diameter of the tree. Now, the chief characteristics of meristematic tissue is जो meristematic tissue है इसका main character क्या है? Cells are small, usually cubical, cell wall is thin and nuclei are large. Vacuoles are almost absent. Cells are tightly packed, so no space is there. So no intercellular space are present. Cells actively divide, adding new cells to the plant, and new cells thus produced are transformed into mature permanent tissue. जब एक के बाद एक जैसे कि cells grow करते हैं, तो जो नीचे वाला cells है, वो धीरे-धीरे permanent tissue में change होते रहता है. Because the other part, it keeps on dividing, and the next part, the previous part, they keeps on changing into the permanent tissue that has lost its ability to multiply, that has lost the ability to divide, and they forms the permanent tissue. So what are the characteristics of this tissue? Cells are small, usually cubical in structure, cell wall is thin, nuclei are large, and vacuole is absent, intercellular space is absent, and the cells actively divide, present in the growing tips of the plant. Now, meristematic tissue are again classified into two parts, apical and lateral. Meristematic tissue again divided into two parts, apical and lateral. Apical means the terminal position, जैसे कि root tips, branch, the tip of the branch, stem tips. यहाँ पे ये growing part है. There this meristematic tissue is present, apical part. The stem tips, the root tips, and the leaf tip, the leaves near the tips of the stem, as well as the axillary buds. Lateral or cambium meristemate present to increase the diameter of the stem. जो पहले हमने discuss किया है that these are present between the wood and the between the wood and the bark, and they help in the development or the growth of the diameter. And the next part is the permanent tissue. ये हो गया meristematic जो growing tips में रहते हैं, और यहाँ पे permanent tissue. Permanent tissues नाम से ही पता चलता है that they do not divide. That means cell division has stopped in these parts. Made up of cells which have lost their ability to divide, they take a permanent shape to perform some permanent functions. Now what are these? Now first is protective, supporting and conducting. The permanent tissues as per their function is divided into three parts. Permanent tissue, protective, supportive, and conducting. But the name itself, protective, means it gives its function is to protect. Now protective tissue, cell with thick walls found on the surface of roots, stems and leaves. So they provide protection to the plant. एक example है जैसे कहते हैं epidermis of the leaf. That means we have seen in some leaves of the water plants or the aquatic plants, they have a waxy coating. उनके leaves के ऊपर एक waxy waterproof coating रहता है जिसे cuticle भी कहा जाता है. इससे क्या होता है? The water does not stay for long on the surface of the leaves, and that protects the leaf from getting withered or from damaging the leaves. So ये है protective function of the permanent tissue. This is an example. So this is the function of the protective tissue, to protect the parts of the plant. Then comes the supporting tissue. इससे पता चलता है कि it gives support to the plant. Now, supporting tissues of several types. Three most important ones are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. तो ये supportive tissue को फिर तीन पार्ट में डिवाइड किया जाता है. Parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now, parenchyma, large thin-walled cells, oval, circular or polygonal in shape. So the shape of the parenchyma cells are either oval, either polygonal or circular, single large vacuole present, found in soft parts of plants like the cortex and the pith, that is the central region. या तो outer या तो central region में पाया जाता है. ये क्या देता है? Support. May store food as in potatoes and provide temporary support to the plant. तो जैसे potatoes एक stem है, we all know. तो ये जो food storage है, this is also the activity of that parenchyma cells. And provide temporary support. So this is one part of the supporting tissue, the parenchyma cells, the parenchyma. Now, second one is collenchyma. अच्छा, the parenchyma cell जिसमें chloroplast रहता है, उसको हम बोलते हैं chlorenthyma. That is the chlorenthyma. Chlorenthyma. That means it contains chlorophyll, chloroplast. And we all know this chloroplast contains the green pigment chlorophyll, which helps in the process of food manufacture. The process by which it helps in the process of photosynthesis. Now, second one is collenchyma, made up of elongated cells, thickened at corners. Now, collenchyma cells are elongated. These are long cells. Thickened corners. These corners are thickened. Found in the leaf stalks and below the epidermis of stem, tissue helps to support the parts of the plant. So these tissues, collenchyma cells, also provide support to the plant. Last one is sclerenchyma of the supporting tissues. Now, composed of long narrow cells which have become dead. These cells develop very thick walls due to deposition of lignin. Lignin is type of fat that gets deposited. These tissues provide strength to the plant parts found in the stems and veins of the leaves. So, the deposition of lignin is found here. The cells are dead and provide support to the stems and veins of the leaf. The three categories, the parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, are grouped as simple tissues. They are known as simple tissue. Now we'll move on to the conducting tissue. We all know that the plant takes a water and mineral salt from the soil with the help of the root. And then it transports that water and minerals to other parts of the plant. And also, the food that is manufactured in the leaves of the plants are transported to different body parts, different parts of the plant. So this transportation of food and water mineral salts are carried by the conducting tissue. Now these two conducting tissues are xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. Water and mineral salt. Food. And this together, this xylem and phloem, they are known as vascular bundle. So this conducting tissue, xylem and phloem, xylem that transport the water and mineral salt, and phloem that transports the prepared food, to other parts of the plant, are collectively known as vascular bundle. Now, xylem cells are elongated, thick walled. These are the type of cells present in the xylem. In the form of tubular passages, provide for upward movement of water and dissolved salt. That means they help in the movement of the water and mineral salts, the upper portion of the plant, the upper movement. Older xylem tissue forms the wood and does not participate. So in xylem, as the cell divides, and the older one, they does not divide and they form the wood of the tree, wood of the stem. The age of the tree can be calculated by counting its annual rings, which actually are the xylem rings. So the age of the tree we can find out by counting these rings, the xylem rings. The xylem tissue consists of tracheids and vessels, collectively called tracheary elements, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So there are consist of four types of cells, we can say. Consist of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So first the tracheids, made up of elongated dead cells. So tracheids, the characteristics of cells are tracheids, then comes the xylem vessels, then comes the xylem parenchyma, then comes the xylem fiber. Okay. Now tracheids, these cells are elongated dead, large cavities without any content. So dead cells, they don't have any without their empty cells without any content. Cells are placed end to end, forming a long tube-like structure. Highly lignified cell walls. They provide mechanical support by developing various types of thickenings in their walls. So they are dead cells. Their cavity is empty without any content in the cavity. They have thick walls with the deposition of lignin, that is lignified walls, and gives mechanical support to the plant. Okay. Now xylem vessels or tracheae, long tubes-like structure for transporting of water and dissolved minerals, made up of elongated cells placed end to end. So like xylem, like tracheids, here the xylem vessels also, the cells are placed end to end so that the movement of water and minerals can be easily done, or easily it can pass through those vessels. Their cell walls are quite hard, thick and lignified. So just like the previous one, here also the cell walls are thick and lignified. Transverse walls get dissolved and make a continuous water pipe. So the walls that divides those cells, so those walls are dissolved, so there's a continuous passage is formed so that the water and minerals can easily get conduct through it. Then comes the xylem parenchyma, consists of living parenchyma cells. So here the cells are living. In the other two, the first one we have got the dead cells, and the second one also we get the depositions of lignin, and they help in the movement of the particles, movement of water and dissolve. Now parenchyma cells are living. Cells serve for the storage of food and help in conduction of water and minerals, and the food is stored in the form of starch and sugars and starch, and help in the conduction of water and minerals. Xylem parenchyma. Then comes the xylem fibers, made up of dead sclerenchyma cells. Dead sclerenchyma cells means it provides support to the plant body. Cell wall long, narrow, with tapering ends, and main function is to provide mechanical support to the plant. So here we comes to the end of the xylem. The structure of xylem made up of four type of cell with different characters. At least three characters are most important of all the cells. At least three should be remembered. Then comes the phloem. Phloem is that part, the conducting tissue, that helps in the transport of the prepared food or the food that has been manufactured on the surface of the leaves to other parts of the plant. It provides passage for the downward movement of food manufactured in the leaves to various parts of the plants. They also provide for the upward movement of the prepared food towards growing new leaves. The phloem tissue consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma cells and phloem fibers. So your phloem also are made up of four types of cells. What are they? Sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Now, first one is the sieve tubes. Elongated cells placed end to end forming a tube-like structure. Transverse walls called sieve plates are perforated. So the walls that separate, suppose these are the cells, elongated cells, and the walls that are separating the two cells are perforated. That means they are having small pores so that the food can easily pass through one cell to another. Then comes the companion cells. Companion cells helps in the functioning of the sieve tubes. It supports the sieve tubes. Closely associated with sieve tube cells help in the functioning of the sieve tubes. Then comes phloem parenchyma, mainly concerned with storage of starch, fat and other organic food material. So its function is storage. And then comes phloem fibers, sclerenchymatous cells that provide support. So for phloem fibers, they provide support to the plant. So they are collectively called the vascular bundle that I have already mentioned here. And these tissues are known as the complex tissue. The conducting tissues are known as the complex tissue. Now we will start with the animal tissue. I hope till now, up tak, the whatever I have taught you, whatever I have explained to you, I think it's quite clear. I think no doubts we have. If you have any doubts or complaint or any questions, you can put it in the comment section. Okay, so let's continue with the chapter and we'll move on to animal tissue. Now, animal tissues are classified into 4 types. Okay, 4 types. Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and 4th is the nervous tissue. So first we'll start with the epithelial tissue. These are forms the thin protective sheet of cells that its main function is to protect our body. It is generally found on the surface of the body, the skin, the layer of the skin, body and the lines of the various body cavities and internal organs, including the blood vessels. So it forms the surface of the body and linings of the various organs, including the blood vessels, like the outermost layer of skin, the lining of the mouth, nose, etc. Shape: flat, cuboidal or columnar in shape. So generally the shape that is found of the epithelial tissue are cuboidal, columnar or flat. Function: protection, that we have already seen here. Protection, absorption and secretion that takes place in the intestine. And sensory perception, that it is present in the mouth, nose. These epithelial tissues can be further divided into 4 categories. This epithelial tissue has 4 categories. Further, it can be divided into squamous epithelium, cuboidal. So by the name only we can understand according to the shape. Columnar, and glandular. So today we'll discuss one by one all the different types of tissues. Now, squamous epithelium are thin, flat with prominent nuclei, closely packed. So they have a prominent nucleus. They are thin, flat, found in the lining of mouth, nasal cavities, blood vessels and lymph vessels. Protects the underlying parts of from mechanical injury, germ and harmful chemicals and drying up. Second is cuboidal. The name itself tells that it is cuboidal in shape. It found in some parts of kidney tubules and in glandular ducts like salivary glands or pancreatic glands. Salivary gland that is found in the mouth cavity, and pancreatic that is found in the liver, intestine. Now, columnar epithelium contains vertically arranged cylindrical or brick-like cells. Columnar cells, brick-like cells are present, usually tall in size. They are generally found in the inner lining of stomach and intestine. So, their structure and the place where they are found and their function. The columnar epithelium can further be divided into two parts, ciliated and glandular. Sorry, it's not the part of the epithelium, it's a part of the columnar only, and here is a stratified. Squamous, cuboidal, columnar and stratified. Columnar is divided into ciliated columnar tissue and glandular epithelium. Now, ciliated columnar epithelium, ciliated means they have hair-like projections. The cells that are present, they have some hair-like projections called cilia, which keeps on moving. They're continuous. They're in a continuous moving position. The continuous move. Found keep on lashing and move the materials that enter these regions. They're generally found in the windpipe. So any dust or any particles that enters our windpipe, it just keeps on throwing out, keeps on moving, and this helps in makes the region free of germs or free of dust particles. Glandular epithelium contains some large cells which secrete certain chemical substance. Cells are common in the lining of stomach where secretion takes place. Various glands are there. Digestive juices are secreted. Glandular epithelium is folded inward to form compact, hollow or tubular glands like sweat glands, tear glands or the liver, the largest gland of the body, that is the liver. Now comes the stratified epithelium. Found in the skin and cornea, composed of several layers, strata. Several layers are there, so it is called stratified. Generally found in cornea and the skin. They may be of same type or different kinds of epithelial cells. So these are the epithelial cells and their division. The squamous epithelium, cuboidal, columnar and stratified epithelium. Now we move on to the connective tissue. Connective tissue. Abundance of intercellular space, that is the matrix. A lot of intercellular substance is there. Matrix. A substance, a chemical substance that is found in the cells. Fewer cellular elements and fibers. Few cellular elements are there and fibers are there. Connective tissue is classified into three categories. Connective tissue proper, supportive and fluid. Proper, supportive and fluid connective tissue. Now, connective tissue proper serves for packing and binding of the organs. So, its function is to packing and binding of organs, so that organs can be placed, it may be confined to a place. Supportive, give support, provides support. And fluid, the blood and the lymph. So this is the division of the connective tissue. Now first is the connective tissue proper, that helps in the packing and binding of the organs so that they may be confined to a specific place. Now first one is areolar and the adipose. Areolar and adipose. Now areolar packing tissue, mostly widely spread, occurring beneath the epidermis of the skin. So where it is present? Beneath the epidermis of the skin. Makes skin elastic and helps to withstand pulling strain. कि जब हम स्किन को खींचते हैं तो फिर से अपनी पोजीशन में आ जाता है, वैसा ही रहता है. So it can held up, it can go with that strain, it can bear that strain, that pulling strain. Now adipose or fat tissue, specialized cells which stores fat. This tissue forms padding under the skin and around the kidneys, eyeball, etc. एक पैड, एक कवरिंग के तरह ऑर्गन के चारों ओर रहता है. Padding under skin act as an insulation and it keeps the body warm, helps the body to retain its temperature, to maintain its temperature. Fibrous connective tissue, made up of elongated cells referred as fibers. इसको कहा जाता है fibers. Fibers are strong and bundled together by areolar tissue. तो areolar tissues fibers को bind करते हैं. और यहाँ पे दो टर्म है, two terms are here, tendons and ligaments. Tendons का काम क्या है? Connect muscle to bone. Muscle to bone. And ligaments connects bone to bone. So here tendons are there which connects muscle to bone and the ligaments which connects bone to bone. Last one, not the last one, the supporting connective tissue, the second one. Now supporting connective tissue, again there's two types are there, cartilage and bone. Cartilage are non-porous tissue, has a thickened intercellular substance matrix. So here matrix is present. No blood vessel or nerves. Cartilage is semi-transparent and elastic. This cartilage you must have found in the tip of your nose and ears. इसको हम लोग जैसे भी फोल्ड करें, जैसे भी मोड़े, ये फिर से वापस अपने पोजीशन में आ जाता है. And it's not painful also, no. तो इसको कहते हैं cartilage. ये बॉडी का जो पार्ट है, the external part of the ear, the tip of the nose, here bones are not there. यहाँ पे कोई हड्डी नहीं है, बोन नहीं है. This is the cartilage. यहाँ पे intercellular substance matrix है, कोई blood vessel नहीं है, ठीक है? And they're semi-transparent. Cartilage are found at the tip of nose, external ears, trachea and bronchial tubes. Now bone. Bone क्या है? Hard porous tissue. Good supply of blood vessels and nerves are there. Consists of both living cells and rigid mass of inorganic cell. तो जो living cell है उसको बोलते हैं osteoblast. Osteoblast present in the bones. Bones में जो living cell है उसको बोलेंगे osteoblast. Then comes the fluid connective tissue, the last one. That is made up of blood and lymph. So blood we all know, blood is that's red in color. उसमें red blood cells रहते हैं, उसमें white blood cells रहते हैं, platelets रहते हैं. That protects our body, that transports the vitamins and hormones from one part of the body to another part. So blood it is composed. So blood बनता क्या है उसमें? Is composed of liquid part and cellular part. Liquid part को बोलते हैं plasma. And cellular part is red blood cells, the white blood cells and the platelets. Now the lymph. The second part is the lymph. Fluid surrounding the body cell. Cell के चारों ओर जो fluid रहता है, जो liquid substance है, वो है lymph. Essential the blood plasma that has oozed out of the blood vessel. Blood plasma जो blood vessel से निकल के आता है. It contains white blood cells and not the red blood cells. Both blood and lymph are mainly concerned with transportation and also with the immunity. हम पहले बोले कि ये they transport the vitamins, the hormones from one part of the body to another part, one cell to another cell, and also body immunity. Because ये जो white blood cells है, they can make antibodies. That we will study in the later part when we will study blood. So now let's move to the muscle tissue. Muscle tissue is made up of two types of tissues, straighted and unstraighted and hard. So muscle tissue is in form of three kinds of muscles are there. Straighted unstraighted, and the heart or the cardiac muscles. Straighted, the name itself, straighted से क्या होता है? The muscles that are under our control, जिसका मूवमेंट हमारे कंट्रोल में है, जैसे हैंड्स, लेग्स, आर्म, हम जब चाहते हैं तब उसको मूव कर सकते हैं, तो वो है स्ट्रेटेड मसल्स. अनस्ट्रेटेड मसल्स, जिसका मूवमेंट हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है, जैसे मूवमेंट ऑफ द फूड फ्रॉम माउथ टू द स्टमक, कुछ भी जो इंटरनल में जो मूवमेंट हो रहा है, सो दिस मूवमेंट आर नॉट अंडर आवर कंट्रोल. So this is unstraighted muscles. So straighted muscles are under the control of our will, made up of long fibers which are nucleated, having the dark and light bands. तो सेल कैसे elongated cells होते हैं, उसमें dark light bands इस तरह से, the cells are elongated, shades of light and dark bands are there. Straighted muscles, these are under our control. They constitute about 50% of the body weight. So this type of muscles forms the 50% weight of our body. Are found in the arms, leg, face, neck. That we can move according to our will. Unstraighted muscles not under our control, जो पहले हम बता चुके हैं, made up of spindle-shaped cells which are uninucleated. One nucleus is present. Found in the walls of intestine, help in the passage of food. Muscles of the iris of the eye, skin, lining of blood vessels, urinary bladder, etc. जो भी organs, जो भी movement हो रहा है inside body में, which is not under our control, that is the unstraighted muscles are present. And cardiac muscle we can understand by the name itself, it's present in the heart. The fibers of cardiac muscles are straighted, uninucleated and branched. They are relatively short. They can contract without outside stimulation and do not get tired soon. Because if heart muscles get tired, then the person we know, वो मर जाता है, he dies. So from the day we are born, our heart muscles keeps on working. And the last part of the tissue is the nerve tissue, the nervous part. This we will study in detail in the later part. Nervous tissue constitutes the nervous system. So this nervous tissue forms the whole nervous system of the body. This tissue is made up of specialized elongated cells called neurons. The nervous system, the nervous system is made up of neuron cells. The structure of neuron cells is given in the book. Still, I am drawing one so that it is clear to you. I can make the whole thing very much clear to you, ताकि आपको समझ में आए. This is the structure of one nerve cell, a neuron. Okay, so this portion is a single nerve cell. This is the cell body, it's called the cytosol. Nucleus is present. These are hair-like projection. These are called dendrites. This is the body, it's called the axon. Here nucleus is presence of nucleus is there, and these are the endings of the axon. Endings. Now, each nerve cell consists of a cell body called the cytosol with a nucleus, and hair-like extensions called dendrites or dendrons. And they have one of this axon, maybe the axon may be very long, here we can see. And it's a bundle together, this axon bundled together form a nerve. The nerve tissue is concerned with the perception and response of the animals. तो हमारी बॉडी में जो भी responses होते हैं, जो भी आसपास के एनवायरनमेंट के साथ जो भी हमारा रिस्पॉन्स होता है, जैसे अगर अगर किसी को इफ वी फील द हॉटनेस और कोल्डनेस ऑफ अ बॉडी और द pricking effect, whatever it is, this nervous system helps to carry this message to the brain and again from the brain to that organ, this movement. So this we will study in detail in the later part. And a nerve cell can be as long as 1 meter or even 3 meters. जैसे elephant का होता है, the elephant has nerve cells as long as 3 meters. So I hope children, so here we end the chapter and I hope children you have understood the topic. एक tissue जो है animal and plant, I think I am able to make you understand. आई होप आपको ये चैप्टर समझ में आया है. अगर कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, कोई भी क्वेश्चंस है, प्लीज पुट इट इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. आई होप you have liked the video, you will share it and you will subscribe. Thank you.